Apparently, ChatGTP
It's ChatGPT, not ChatGTP.
knows everything. It's like the wizard in The Wizard of Oz.
Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
But how much does ChatGTP know about living in Detroit, Michigan? So we're about to ask it to see if it knows more than me, the Wizard of Michigan. I hope nobody starts calling me the Wizard of Michigan. Imagine if that's the nickname that sticks.
It won't. Trust me.
If you're new here, my name's Paul and I help people like you make better decisions when moving to, from, or around the state of Michigan with ridiculous videos like this. I'm also a full-time real estate agent, so if you'd like to make a move in the next 3 days to 3 years, reach out because I can probably help. My information is all below. All right, so let's jump into ChatGTP and see what it says about living in Detroit, Michigan. What should I know about living in Detroit?
Detroit is the largest city in the state of Michigan and has a rich history as a center of industry and innovation. Here are some things you should know about living in Detroit. Cost of living. Compared to other major cities, the cost of living in Detroit is relatively low, which can make it an attractive option for those on a budget. However, the cost of living can vary depending on the neighborhood you live in.
Vary? Yeah, it can vary. That's like any big city. Name a city where that is not true. The problem in Detroit are the taxes. The taxes can get straight up bananas if you don't know what to look for. Certain houses have a totally different tax bracket, so you need to be aware of all that. The tax situation is a topic for a whole other video.
Diverse neighborhoods. Detroit is home to many diverse neighborhoods, each with its own unique character and history. Some of the most well-known neighborhoods include Midtown, Corktown, and the East Side.
That's the truth. I even made a video about some of the most expensive neighborhoods in Detroit, Michigan, and you should probably check that out after you're done watching this. Those homes and neighborhoods are beautiful. One house even looks like a carbon copy of the Home Alone house.
And that's the one, Marvin. That's the silver tuna.
I'd live there like any day, just as long as like the wet bandits are like nowhere to be found.
Where are you little creep?
I am not up for crime fight. It's not my gig. Real estate guy, not a crime fighter. Be dressing up like Batman. Can you imagine that? Real estate guy by day, Batman by night.
Arts and culture. Detroit is home to a thriving arts and culture scene, with numerous museums, theaters, and music venues. Some of the most famous museums in Detroit include the Detroit Institute of Arts and the Motown Museum.
This is very true. I just saw Elmo at the Fox Theater, so you know I'm fancy. I go to the theater with kids, but still, I go.
Real classy.
Sports. Detroit is a great place for sports fans, with several professional sports teams, including the Detroit Lions, Detroit Pistons, and Detroit Tigers.
Yes! They are finally all in Detroit, but it wasn't always like that. You had to go way out to Auburn Hills to see the Pistons, and then you had to go all the way out to Pontiac to see the Lions at the Silverdome. But the Silverdome also had a lot of monster truck stuff and wrestling. So I was kind of cool with it. I'm not exactly the athletic type, but like Monster Jam, that's my jam. If you went to the old stadiums, give me your stories. I want to hear about them. I want to hear about the Pontiac Silverdome, Old Tiger Stadium, and the Palace? Yeah, the Palace of Auburn Hills. Palace. It's like the newest stadium we had. Knocked it down. Put them all in Detroit. It's very convenient though.
Job market. Detroit has a diverse economy with a strong presence in the automotive, technology, and healthcare industries. However, the city has faced economic challenges in recent decades, and the job market can be competitive.
Especially with automotive jobs. This is the Motor City, or was the Motor City. All the jobs are going everywhere else. Now we're trying to make electric cars and compete with Elon freaking Musk, the guy with rocket ships trying to go to Mars. We gotta compete with him in Detroit. I don't feel like that's a fair fight at all.
How can we compete with that?
You need a wizard. You need a wizard on your side.
Transportation. Detroit has a number of options for getting around, including bus and rail systems, as well as bike lanes and pedestrian walkways. However, having a car can make life easier, especially if you live in a suburban area.
Yeah, you have to have a car if you live in Detroit or Metro Detroit. When they're talking about a suburban area, they're not talking about the city of Detroit, they're talking about the suburbs. And you absolutely have to have a car, unless you're just gonna rely on Uber and Lyft. We don't have subways, we don't have big trams. Well, we sort of have a tram system. It's called the People Mover, and it's like the tram at Disney World. So if you've ever seen that thing where it's sort of like hovering above everything, we have one of those, and it just goes in a loop. I actually made a video all about why you shouldn't move to Detroit. You can check it out here when you're done with this video, and I cover that tram system because it's kind of weird. It's just a loop. All right, crime.
Crime. Like many cities, Detroit has had issues with crime in the past, but the city has made significant efforts to improve public safety in recent years. However, it's important to research the crime rates in the specific neighborhoods you are considering living in and to take precautions to stay safe.
Nice way to tiptoe around the issue, ChatGTP. That's a totally robot thing to do.
These are not robot questions.
All right, robot. I'm just gonna ask you directly. Is Detroit safe? Let's see what you got.
Is Detroit safe? The safety of a city can depend on many factors, including the specific neighborhood you live in, your daily routines and habits, and your personal level of caution.
Yeah, true, but like, it's with anywhere, right? Every single neighborhood can be different when it comes to crime. Actually, when anyone asks me about crime, I'm not allowed to talk about crime specifically, so I always refer people to neighborhoodscout.com. It's a great tool, so if you're ever thinking about whatever city you're looking at, you can type in the name of a city and you can go down, you can zoom down and see the actual neighborhood street by street and see what crime, a heat map of crime. It's kind of crazy. It'd be like the eye in the sky.
In recent years, Detroit has made significant progress in reducing crime, and many areas of the city are safe for residents and visitors. However, as with any city, there are areas with higher crime rates, and it's important to research the crime rates in the specific neighborhoods you are considering living in and to take precautions to stay safe.
They have made attempts in the city of Detroit to reduce crime. They have two projects, one called Project Greenlight and the other one was called Project Ceasefire. But the federal government just released a study saying they gave them both no effect ratings. And I don't know much about this thing, but I can tell you that no effect does not sound good. You're gonna have to read up on that for more information. That's all I can say. No effect.
If you're concerned about safety, it's always a good idea to take steps to protect yourself, such as being aware of your surroundings, avoiding walking alone at night in unfamiliar areas, and locking your doors and windows. Additionally, you can consider living in a neighborhood with a lower crime rate or one that has a strong community watch program. It's also worth noting that Detroit is home to a large and dedicated police force, and they work hard to keep the city safe. If you ever feel threatened or need assistance, don't hesitate to contact the police.
Duh, I know.
Thanks, ChatGTP, for that nugget of advice. No one says, I want to live in a dangerous neighborhood. That's not the way life works, robot.
Those robots are not your friends.
And of course people are gonna call the police. If you feel threatened, you call the police. That's just what you do. So what are your thoughts on what ChatGTP just told us about the city of Detroit? Would you still live there after reading all of that? If so, let me know. And if you're still looking for a place to live and you wanna live maybe outside of the city of Detroit, in Metro Detroit and some of the surrounding suburbs, check out some of these other videos and playlists here, and I'll see you there.